be taken care of first. But after that, I dealt with the parents, because you cannot educate a child without his environment. And its immediate environment is the parents, the home, where they come from. Whatever they bring along from home there has to be a relationship between the environment, which is the home, the neighborhood, and the school. And then it was a very good idea, I believe, at that time, when it was decided by government at the time to have schools in the various district areas. It was not a reason only for transportation, to facilitate transportation, but also, I believe, especially at elementary school, you do need to have the school in that environment where parents are involved, the teachers are knowledgeable of the parents, have relations with the parents, and that's a better, wider environment, learning environment for the child. So at that time, having done a lot of social work as well, in a year or so, at that time it was, I think, the Graaf. There were the two teachers who were teaching 4 classes in Cold Bay. And at 1 and 2, the 5th grade was starting behind the Methodist Church in Cold Bay. And they assigned me there. But at the same time, they felt, apparently in the work I've been doing, that Cold Bay School would not remain a dependent of the Oranje School, but have its own status as a full-fledged school. So I was then appointed as principal of the school. And as such, the school developed into a full-fledged school. Right. I was actually one of the first local principal of the school. I was not the first local principal. I was the first local black principal of the school. Because you had, before you had Leonard Connor, I think. Lionel Connor. He was the principal at one time, after Slot Howard and those people. He was the principal of the Oranje School at the time. And I became one of the first black, and that's significant to say it, not because of a racial situation, because 95% of the population are black. Definitely at that time it was that way. So it was quite something to be a principal school, a black principal school at the time. Mm-hmm. So there is when I became principal school of the Cold Bay School, which became quickly after that the Lionel Connor School.
But just to give our listeners a bit of flashback, Cold Bay as it looks like today.
No.
We're not talking about how Cold Bay looks today. I'm sure some of your challenges, you were talking about the discipline that you had to instill in the students. Back in those days, a lot of students walked to school. Probably some of them had no shoes. I heard stories also from my grandmother that back in those days they used to walk from French Quarter all the way to the Dutch side to get to a school, sometimes with no shoes. So I'm sure all of that played a role as well.
It did play a role. Those from French Quarter, of course, went to the Mount William Hill. And those of Cold Bay came from St. John's and from Marigot. Came, and even as far as from Dancas, came to Cold Bay School when I was there principal of the school. As a matter of fact, it was a public school. And as such, it could not compete with the school in Simpson Bay, which was a private school. It was under the jurisdiction of the Roman Catholic Church. I should say the students of families who were more in affordance, let me put it that way. Those are the kids who went to that school. And they were, of course, privy to being able to say, no, we don't want that or we don't want this. The others had to come to the Cold Bay School because it was public education, public school. So I got all of those, and those we had to actually deal with and bring within the curriculum, the level of curriculum, bring to the point where they can continue in any regular secondary education. And I believe we have done that with the help of the other dedicated teachers which we had at the time, and still have today, I'm sure. We were able to do quite a bit in the community of Cold Bay, because at that time I knew every parent of my school. I knew every child that was in the school. And Cold Bay at the time consisted of families of the Peters, the LaVays, the Solomons, the James, etc. And there were people who also were in the church. Know that the society was differently structured than today. It was structured as in the sense of a village. And if one of the things I'm working on